Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with, talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
trying to figure out how I want to answer the second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Terribles, Port Speedway. Got Devin Gordon with us.
At Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
It is Monday, June 16th, 2025. What is going on? I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z. We are the Turn 2 Terribles. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. We got a great show planned for you. Even though it rained, rain is the main story. Didn't get any racing here in Central PA. But we got a good show planned for you. We got two guests for you. We got Mason Hannagan, driver out of Indiana. Micro midgets, now getting into 360 wing sprint cars a little bit. We're going to talk to him about, his family's racing history and where his career is going right now. And then later on, we'll have Seth Schnoke on 358 driver. He got a win at Lincoln last year. Been pretty fast. Really young, talented driver here in Central PA. Guy to keep an eye out on. We'll have him on a little bit later. Also, we'll talk about there's another storm rolling in, hopefully with good weather, though. USAC Eastern Storm rolls into Pennsylvania this week with a bunch of wingless action coming into town. One of the best weeks of the year here in Central PA, in my opinion. And then we'll also, we'll look at World of Outlaws in Knoxville. There's Ohio Speed Week going on. Plenty of other things to talk about, even though we didn't get any racing in here this week. So, again, thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Matt, Santos, Randy, Billy Dietrich, what's going on? James, Marie, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Yeah, as always. JC, how are you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm good. Just happy to be here. Busy evening, busy last few days around my household, but I'm happy to be back and getting after it tonight. Talk a little racing.
Matt Bird, I finally got a little clay on the cart tires this Friday at 7 Star Speedway. They did get some racing in there, so that's good to hear that you finally got out on the track. Yeah, so really excited for tonight's show. This will be a good one. I trust me on that. Randy says, geez, I live 5 minutes from Lincoln. I don't think it rained much at all Saturday. We got a lot Friday. It's been like 40 days and 40 nights of rain. You know what I mean? What can you do? All right. Let's bring in our first guest, Mason Hannagan. Mason, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you this evening?
Good. I like the shirt you're wearing.
Yeah, right?
I didn't even realize it here a couple minutes ago. I just looked, I'm like, oh, hey.
That's Mason's shirt. Let's go, Jimmy. Or it's some other MH. I mean, it could be.
Well,
Nah.
could be.
All right,
I think
brother.
it's
Hey,
your-
appreciate you being here. This will be a fun show because we've known you for a while now. I've known you before, I don't know, before you even drove anything, I want to say. Maybe. I don't even know. I remember when you couldn't even log on to your own name on iRacing yet. So, I mean, that's how long it's been since I've kind of known you, and you were in our circle and, still kind of are, and you see you're on iRacing here and there. And when you're done kicking our ass, you've kind of, you're doing your own thing now in the racing side. So I'm going to say this early in this, and then we'll move on from it because, a lot of people are going to know your last name, and I want to talk about that because here in PA, there may be a lot of people that don't know that who you are and who your dad is and that. So not that I want to like get stuck on that, but your dad, Randy Hannagan, the Hurricane, right? We affectionately have called Mason Tropical Storm for a lot of years because he's a little hurricane. Okay, we called him Tropical Storm, and I know you may hate that, and that's okay. You're your own person. You're doing your thing. You're on the come up. So, talk about a little bit about your family's history in racing, and I don't need to know all dad's stats, but it's pretty clear path that you were going to end up in racing at some point, somehow. So, kind of walk us through that, and when you kind of got your start and kind of what it was like growing up around dad with the traveling life.
Yeah. Dad started way back when in California, ran go-karts a lot of his life, then transferred to the micros. And then I think in 87, he started running sprint cars, either 87 or 88. I can't remember. Started running sprint cars and raced with Brent Kading, Ronnie Day, Tyner, all the goats of the pastime. Got to race at San Jose, and then obviously went outlaw racing, and 95 was his rookie year, right? So, and then, he moved to Indiana in 2000, and, he just raced with the Outlaws and ran with the All-Stars. Did a lot of racing, and then obviously I was born in 05, and I got to experience all of it, right? From 05 to, I think now, right? His time's over. I think he's retired. I don't know for sure, but you never know. He wants to say he's retired, but you never know. If somebody offered him, hey, you want to run Eldora? He'd be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that instantly. That way I can whip my kid's ass. Because he's so good there. It's just like, man, I don't want to deal with him at Eldora anymore. But yeah, and then I got started in 2019. Paul May's car is actually at Wayne County right now, but I was on him for pretty much all 2019. I was on his ass about running a micro, and my dad thought it was a fluke. He didn't think I was going to want to race because I tried quarter midgets back in, I don't even know what year it was. Tried it and I just hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I was playing baseball. I was playing basketball. I just didn't want to do it, and felt like that was more the direction for me. And 2019. I mean, I was racing iRacing, right? And it kind of was like, man, I feel like I need to go racing. Got in it for the first time and was wide open. I mean, I didn't know any different. Was wide open. And that's how it started, right? I think at the end of the year we ran Outlaw Wing. The beginning of next year, Paul May got me a brand new car. We started running micros, and I've ran micros ever since, right? So, at the end of last year, Miles Hill was like, hey, you guys can run Chili Bowl and then BC 39 and, a few select outdoor races. And went to Chili Bowl, and we went to DuQuoin first, and DuQuoin was its own story. Ran all right, I feel like, for the first midget race, and kind of a pain in the ass to that be your first midget race, right? I mean, little 8th mile or whatever you want to call it. It's like, you don't know, you're pulling a wheelie every other corner, right? So, Chili Bowl was a blast. Obviously not the outcome we wanted, but I think we were a lot better than what a lot of people expected me to be. Racing with Brad Sweet in the qualifier and racing some of the best midget guys out in the country, right? And I was one corner shy of starting, I think, 6th in the feature. It's just my own mistake, and I don't think about it anymore, right? It's just like you learn and you move on. So, ran the midget at Coles County and sucked. I mean, got your ass kicked, and it's just how it is, right? So, went and did midget week. I'm pretty good at midget week. Made the show at Circle City. That was definitely something I was pretty proud about, right? 40 cars there. Third outdoor race. It was like, okay, we were pretty good, honestly, and I think we can be better with time, but it's not really the direction I'm heading. I'm heading more towards the sprint car direction, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But it's great, and can't thank you guys for having me on the show.
No problem, man. And listen, we probably are a little behind on getting you on here, but at the same time, I think this is the perfect time because, you got some time, a little bit of experience under your belt now. But I always looked at your like it makes so much more sense hearing you talk about it. Like you're sort of a late bloomer in this for being a young guy in a way. Like you said, the quarter midget thing, I didn't really do it for a while and kind of got going a little bit slow. And, I'd see some of your preview stuff or whether, if you posted on social or in a chat, wherever. And it felt like the micro thing was going. All of a sudden, I'm like, Chili Bowl, midget. Oh, okay, let's go. And now wing car this past weekend. So, like, obviously, if you had it your way, I would just want to full time do this, do that. But what does the plan kind of look like this year with, you have this midget deal, you got into the full size car, not what you want the rest of the year to go like, but what do you kind of have eyeing up the rest of the season on doing both, or are you kind of putting all your eggs in one basket?
We're gonna do both. It was kind of the goal to run BC 39. We weren't really sure how many midget races we were gonna do. And I think we've probably done more than what we really wanted to, but it's been really good for me, right? I feel like it got me prepared for the sprint car in a way. It got me back to being in racing again because I honestly, my first race was May 30th, right? A lot of people's first races were April, the first week of April. And I hated starting that late, and it killed me for the first, it killed me all through April to watch everybody else race but me. Because in the past 4 years, I've always started with the micro. But I knew it was just like, okay, we're working towards it. We'll be there. But yeah, we're going to run BC 39 and maybe hit a couple more midget shows. But I think our focus is more towards the sprint car now. Obviously, first weekend went pretty smooth. We're just going to try to hit as many races as we can. And if something else comes about, like a 410 ride or something, obviously I'm not opposed to it. So we'll see. I don't know how many races we're going to do. We're going to do pretty much as many as we can. And we'll just kind of go off that. So really kind of just getting almost prepared for next year. I feel like if this year goes kind of smooth and we show a decent amount of pace, I feel like we're just going to kind of prepare and doing it full time next year. I feel like is kind of the direction we're heading. And if not full time, maybe bounce from a 360 to a 410. So, we'll see. Just kind of with time, obviously, like you said, late. Little late, yeah. I don't feel like I was as late as I probably could have been, but obviously we don't have all the money in the world, and even our micro stuff wasn't our own micro stuff, right? Paul May owned the car and Miles Hill owned the motor, and we kind of owned all the spares, and we had the trailer, and I took care of it and all that. But man, it's definitely taught me how to work for it. I feel like I've worked pretty hard for where I'm at now, and it's just I feel like I have a lot more care about it because I've worked for it for so long, and I work on my own stuff and I take care of my own stuff. It makes you want it even more, right? I was last year in the micro, and I was pretty pissed off about it. Like, I was running the micro, and we were running really good, but I'm like, fuck, like, I need the opportunity in the sprint car. I think I can go do it. And I thought that even in 23, I'm like, man, I think I can do it. I just need the opportunity. And it was just, it just makes you want it more and more and more. But yeah, it's been great, and the opportunity I have for this year are really good. So I'm definitely not letting any lap get past me. I'm making the most of every lap I possibly can, and um, just getting experience, man. I know it's gonna be a rough year. I know I'm gonna get my ass kicked, and it is what it is. Um, but that's the only way to learn is to get your ass kicked. So I'm prepared for it, and um, I'm just happy to be in a sprint car, man.
You talked a couple things you kind of brought up, like, hey, it's not a money tree. It's not endless amounts of money, but with the combination that you have, car, motor, trailer, when you said about putting it all together for this year, you ran the midget, Chili Bowl. Um, but what held you back from racing until now? Was it some more parts you needed to get back into midget? Was it the financial side of having enough to get to the places? And then part two of that is the 360. Who owns that? Is it the same deal? And you're all moving together as a partnership into that. So that's kind of your splitting costs that way, or kind of what's the story been like as to like, hey, I raced in January, but not again till May.
The midget really, there wasn't any appealing races for us to go to. It was pretty much all ready. And the first appealing race for us was going to Coles County. So that was kind of scheduled. The thing with the 360 was we just didn't have the motor back until I think the week before we went to Coles. Or the week or two before we went to Coles. So that was kind of the big thing was the motor for the 360. Miles Hill owns the midget, right? Um, you know, gave us a really nice piece to work with. The thing's really nice, and me and Dad had built it 3 years ago for Dylan Westbrook, and they took it and they ran it, and then I think Sean McClellan ran it the year after, and then it was back here in the Brownsburg shop with Joe Gertie and Alex Hill. Um, and they were like, "Yeah, you can run it. You built the thing, so you know it. Like the back of your hand." So, and we did, and we got it and got it ready to go, and ran to Coin and DeCoin and Chili Bowl. And then on the sprint car deal, Jared Horseman from Ohio, they've been racing with my dad for I don't even know the last 12 years. I think it's been now. We've known Jared for a long time, and Joe and Jared, Joe's his dad. At the end of last year, my dad was kind of helping him a little bit, and Joe wanted my dad to race for him, and my dad he didn't really want to race because he was more or less wanting me to race, and he said he was, wasn't opposed to letting me race it. So my dad was like, okay, well, that's what we're gonna do. So we got it, and just had to wait for the motor a little bit. So when the opportunity came to race finally, it was like, okay, we're ready to go. And we went to Lima, and it went actually really good, I feel like. So just only up from here. We'll just see, and hopefully more opportunities come about.
Anytime you could get, first time out in a 360, first race, just to go out there and get laps is a positive. But you finished like 12th, didn't you? You finished just
I
outside the
think
top 10 or
Yeah,
11th? Yeah.
11th. Yeah, started ninth. Ooh. Yeah, started ninth.
Headset's dying.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know it.
Yeah, go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I gotta try to. These links are never working.
So tell us a little bit about the tracks that you are running that's local to you. First, a lot of people here that watch us from Central PA. Some of the tracks that you are running that's local to you, just name a couple of them and kind of give us a description, just so we kind of know what you're running around there.
Indiana, really, for the micro, I used to run US 24 in Miami County. Now it used to be called Circus City. The midget, I ran Circle City, which is only 40 minutes from home. Really, the sprint car stuff's all in Ohio and Michigan, right? So I think the only race we had in Indy was Lawrenceburg, and they rescheduled it. So I think we might hit that later. I don't know when they rescheduled it to, but I think we've been to Lima. We're supposed to go to Lima again. We go to Eldora. We go to Waynesfield. Go to I-96, Butler, places like that, right? So nowhere really local to me for the sprint car deal, other than Lawrenceburg, I guess you could say. But for the midget, we were pretty close to home with Midget Week, right? Midget Week's in Indiana,
Yeah.
so Paragon was close for me. Putnamville's 45 minutes for me. Kokomo's an hour. Hobstadt's about 2.5. Kokomo's an hour. And so those are the main tracks, right? I'm dead center Indiana, so I'm kind of like the dead center of everywhere, right? I can go to PA in 12 hours, I think it is. I can go to Knoxville in 8. So yeah, Indiana's like, I feel like the main place. It's like you can go anywhere you want. You can go east or west. Even you can go north, you can go south. It don't matter. So yeah, dead center Indiana.
Can't hear you, Jay-Z.
Cornfields.
You ain't coming to PA. You don't want it. You ain't coming here.
I'd
You
get
don't
my
want the
ass
smoke.
kicked. I know. I'm aware.
But
I would
if
love
it's
to, though.
360, if it's a 360, you'll tow here and not have anything to race. So don't do that. We don't we don't want those normal ass cars. We got to run 358s, my boy. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted. I'm trying to get Seth into the show.
He's
I
here.
don't know.
He's in the back. He's
there
here.
now?
He's
Okay,
he's
cool.
connected. He's in the
All
back.
right, cool. So with the 360 thing, there is obviously more opportunities kind of out your direction a little bit, but how healthy is that 360 area? Because I know Ohio has a 360, Knoxville has a 360 kind of thing. Like, what is it for? How does that schedule kind of shake out for stuff near you and projecting? Let's say next season, if you do the full time 360 thing, how many races can you kind of do that are reasonably near you?
I think they had on their schedule 30, but with their schedule, they go to Tennessee, they go to Canada, and it's not that much further for me than them. Especially Canada. Like I think it's almost the same from them to go around Detroit or whatever, and for us to go through Detroit, I think it's almost the same. So I think about 30 or so, maybe more races between Ohio, Michigan, Tennessee, and Canada. And then Knoxville's not too far away if we ever decided to do that. But nothing's really that close other than Lawrenceburg's 2 hours, Lima's 3, Waynesfield's like 2.5, Eldora's 2. So nothing really close, but being in Indiana, it's nice, right? So you're kind of like, okay, you can go to Ohio, then you can go to Michigan. You're not really, say you're in the middle of Ohio, yeah, you're close to Waynesfield, but then you're a lot further from I-96. So we'll just see. I don't really know if, just depending on the end of this year and kind of how much funding we get for next year, it would be great to do it, and I would love to do it and run for kind of rookie of the year. I don't know if they do that or not, but we'll just see. There's nothing really that close, but it's sprint car racing that we don't. It's not like you drive 30 minutes, oh, hey, racetrack. Other than if you're in PA, then you're like, oh, hey, there's, I don't even know how many racetracks are close to you guys, but yeah, it's just, we got to prepare for traveling and got to upgrade on a truck and trailer here before too long. So that's the biggest thing we're working on right now. So that's one of the things that's kind of keeping us back from really racing. Just truck and trailer. We got a 3/4 ton Chevy with a 24-foot trailer. It's not going to cut it. It was made for micro racing. It wasn't meant for sprint car racing. So I know a lot of people do that, but it would just
get you by, right?
It'll get us by. It'll definitely get us by, but I would like to, upgrade, and I think we can. I gotta get rid of the micro stuff. That'd get us some change to deal with. So we'll see.
This obviously, following this stuff isn't cheap, and you're talking about truck and trailer, and then there's another motor and another car and spare a little bit of everything. When you go big time, big car racing, just like in the small stuff, you got to have extras. Like if you want to go race, it's either, hey, I got one. If I tear it up, you may not see me again this year, or take it easy, try to get 2 of everything, and I can do a season and go from there and get funding and results speak and sponsors. So like, I would imagine that's very difficult to balance, knowing I have one. And like, is the trailer, the more trailer and truck I have, the further I might be able to go. But would I rather have 2 cars or another bigger truck and trailer? So like balancing all that, I'm sure is difficult, and finding that funding and sponsorship. And listen, we see that every
Yeah.
week here, right? With guys, 358s or even 410s. That those programs, like, man, I would like to, but which one do I pick, right? I think who was it? The guy that just upset the high limit the
Travis
other week
Aaron's.
said
Yeah.
he something about his fire suit. He put off getting a fire suit or something because he had to put money toward a motor, and now he can go buy a fire suit. So like those decisions, literally down to like, yeah, I'd like
yeah.
to have, but what do I do, right? So, how are your parents been as far as, obviously they support you, but like racing dads are unique. I've come across a few in my time, with some friends, and racing dads are a unique breed of human. How's it been with your dad being at the level of racing he was, and experience and success? How's that been with kind of your career? And or is he a little more hands off, stay back, or is he going, Mason, you're an idiot, don't do that again? Like, how's that relationship
It's
work?
great. I wouldn't want it any other way, right? I don't think I could ask for anybody better. Um, when he ran with the Outlaws and he ran with the All Stars, he was always really his own crew chief, right? He had a lot of crew chiefs, but he made a lot of the calls with the crew chief, right? So, and he learned with the best of the best, right? He raced with Steve, he raced with Sammy, he raced with Mark, he raced with the legends, right?
Mhm.
Stevie
Stevie
Smith,
Smith,
absolutely. No,
legend.
absolutely.
Okay.
I agree 100%. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way, because I feel like I'm getting taught the old way rather than the new way of doing stuff, right? So, obviously I work on my own stuff, unlike a lot of other kids that are younger, or and I'm not saying all of them, but a majority of them, right? So, I feel like I'm doing it the right way. Obviously I'm a little bit behind, but I don't know if I could ask for it any other way. It's been really good, especially from the driving standpoint. I feel like he's kind of let me learn that on my own, but maintaining it, he's taught me everything I know, right? So it's like, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know what to do, and I would be just a helmet bag racer. I'd just be trying to get to the racetrack with my helmet bag and just sitting in the thing and driving it, right? So, um, I like it how it is, and I enjoy working on my own stuff. Granted, it causes me a lot of almost stress in a way, because I'm like, man, I hope I don't leave something loose, or I hope I didn't fucking, you never know, right? Um, so it's great. I wouldn't want it any other way.
So you get your chance in this 360. Was that your first time in a big car, or did you do some testing, or was it, hey, here you go, buddy, good luck?
It was my second time. I had hot lapped a sprint car at Waynesfield, and I looked like I obviously had never knew what I was doing. And then there was my second time ever in a car, and everybody was like, "Well, have you been racing?" I'm like, "No, this is my first time." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is my first time like ever really like wide open." And they're like, "Oh yeah, you were 6th quick in qualifying." I'm like, "Well, I don't really. I wanted to be better, but 6 ain't bad."
Well,
I
don't
don't
know
know
any
any
better. Is
better. I
that
mean,
good?
I hung the thing wide open and turned left. I don't know.
So you're saying that racetrack held up? You didn't have it look like
No,
an
it
Ohio
actually was
racetrack I saw
really
last
good. It
night?
felt like iRacing at 0%, wide open, just through the middle, wide open. It was
Flat-footed.
great. Yeah, it was great. That's the best Lima.
Just
That is the best
just
Lima's
fun.
been in a very long time. And I was like, thank God they did not cancel it, because I was like, that it got me up to speed, right? Like, you ran wide open, so it was like, okay, well now I know the speed of it. Granted, we
There's the
know
limit.
if we go to
Yeah.
I-96 this Friday, it's going to be a lot bigger. I don't really care. It's just like,
Right.
I'm young. I'm kind of dumb. If I flip, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna
Kind of
hurt.
dumb.
But
It doesn't matter if you're young
yeah, I
anyway.
mean, I was my mom. I think my mom asked me this, or somebody asked me this. They're like, "Did you get scared?" No. Why
I
not? No.
I don't feel like you can be if you're
No, you
if
can't. I'm like, well, you can't be scared if you want to race.
right.
They're like, huh? Yeah, fair enough. I was like, no, I've never been scared. The only time I really was scared was the first time I ever stepped in a sprint car. I will say I never drove anything with more horsepower than a micro, right? I stepped into something that had 700, and I was like, whoa, whoa. And it wasn't my own equipment, and I wasn't really comfortable in it. But I posted on, it was last year, and I did okay. Obviously, if it was somebody else's, if it was like my own car, I'd have ran it a lot harder. But yeah, I felt like our first outing went relatively smooth, and we learned a lot in 38 laps or however you math it out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to running a 410 before too long.
That's awesome.
So you get in this thing and you're able to run it, pretty hard in time trials at Lima, but that's not a big place. So once you got out there with other cars, you felt dirty air, you had to lift, you had to do these other things. Did that kind of like, oh shit, the real learning starts now kind of thing? Or
Absolutely.
how did that go? Or were you able to kind of like get
Oh yeah,
going and
no,
spread out and
absolutely.
drive?
Heat race we started second, and um, I got I missed I missed where I needed to be in getting into 3, or I feel like I would have ran second and been in the redraw, right? I was that close to even potentially starting on the front row of my first ever 360 race. I got passed by a guy I've known forever, Luke Griffith. He passed me, and I stayed with him, and he kind of pulled away, and then I'd get back to him, and then kind of would make a little mistake here and there. But yeah, I mean, in the feature, I was like, I mean, I ran it, and I'm like, man, I feel good, but I'm getting my ass kicked because I don't know where or how hard I need to run. Um, and there was a couple times I'd get into one, and I have the thing turn left, and it's not turning, and I'm like, what am I doing? What's going on? And I come in after, and Dad's like, what happened there? And I was like, I don't know, it didn't turn. And he goes, well, you ain't got no wing speed, you got to get into the corner. You got to enter almost earlier. I felt like you almost had to enter earlier, open the wingboard up because you just have no wing speed. And on a restart, you get down into the corner, and it's like, uh-oh. I mean, I was 4-wheel slide to the fence, and I'm like, this is not good. And I figured it out. I mean, I instantly figured out the next restart, right? I think once, and I think I did it twice. Then the third time, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this again, because if I do this again, I'm going to kick my own self in my ass. And I didn't, and it took me, the full 25 to really figure it out. And obviously I have a lot of learning to do, but I feel like that definitely taught me a lot about air. It taught me, because obviously I've never raced with air, right? Micros, I ran on like midget, no air. No air.
Mhm.
Now you go to a wing sprint car, you're going 100 mile an hour, air. Uh-oh. I don't know, you watch it for so long. I feel like I've been to 2,000 races over 19 years. Who knows? And I feel like that helped me a lot, right? I've watched so many races. I've watched so much film. I've watched so many GoPro videos. It's like I felt like I had a decent understanding, but there's nothing than getting into the corner and turning left, and the thing doesn't turn. It's like, whoa, that ain't like iRacing. Nah, that don't happen on iRacing. You just turn the thing in there, and she just turns left. This is the real world's way different, way different. So it's a blast, and it's
That's one of the things on iRacing. Probably my biggest
oh
beef
yeah.
is like air. Give us something that can simulate a little bit of air. Let people
Well, I
can
feel like you
race and move
draft in
around, and
iRacing.
Yeah,
we do
pretty
that.
much.
We do the cup stuff on iRacing, and we're learning a
Hmm.
lot about it. Like not that we didn't know what air does, but like at a pretty competitive cup league that we're in, and they have some,
Mhm.
there's some dirty air, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially cornering straightaways that that you don't feel it, but in straightaways the cars just
No.
don't freaking turn, right? And you know, talking to a lot of our a lot of our buddies
Oh
here
yeah.
that have raced sprint cars and that we talk to a lot, and they're just like, yeah, you got to learn quick, or you're not gonna
Oh yeah.
race long. You're gonna wreck your shit. So you got to figure it out real quick. So let me ask you, and I'll let Jimmy hear if there's any questions from the fans. But did you, when you got in that sprint car, and you've only had one race and a test session, but even let's talk to the midget, any bad iRacing habits you had to break?
No, no, because you don't really. I haven't been on iRacing for the last 2 or 3 months.
You
I
haven't
haven't
been
been,
nearly as
very
active.
active, so I didn't really have a feeling. obviously when you get back on the game, you're like, okay, I know where I need to be. So I feel like when I got in the sprint car, I was just fresh. I was fresh out of the midget. I just ran the midget 2 nights before, ran Paragon, right? So it was like, okay, that was pretty fast. Like it was pretty fast for a midget. That's pretty, because you're going down the straightaway, and I'm like, yeah, I guess the corners are down there. I don't really know where I'm going to enter yet, but I'm wide open right now, and I don't really know how hard to enter. I've never been here before. I've watched my friend Jacob Denny crash here before, and he busted his ass, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know. We'll see if this works, and throw the thing in. And it's like, okay, it works. So the sprint car, it was the same thing. It's like, okay, wide open, turn the thing in just a little bit, let the wing catch it, get to the corner. Don't saw on the wheel though, like you just did the midget for 2 nights. You just sawed on the wheel like you were in iRacing almost. But yeah, I felt like I picked it up instantly. It was like, I remember the first time I was in the sprint car, I was all over the wheel, had no idea what I was doing. I looked like a squirrel. This time I was like, it just came to me, and I'm like, man, it just feels natural. It feels like I've been doing it. And it obviously, iRacing's on iRacing, right? And it felt pretty similar. I'm like, huh, well, I don't know what to think other than just mash the gas, figure it out, drag the brake a little bit, move the wing back when you need to. This is like iRacing, but it's better. So, but no, I mean, it's
Except it's
a 1,000 times better.
better.
You can feel everything in your ass. You can feel everything. You can even feel the rocks you get hit with. No, it's a blast, man. I got out after the feature. I'm like, man, I just want to I want to do it again. Where's the next 25? Is there a midway break or something? No, it was a blast. So, obviously, it's a whole different ball game than iRacing. iRacing teaches you the basics, right? It doesn't teach you how to work on them. It doesn't teach you a lot of stuff. So, but it's a good starter for people. That's how I basically got started.
Right.
iRacing taught me essentially how to race because I had never raced before, right? I got into micro and I hang wide open, right? Same thing with a sprint car. It's like wide open and you just almost back yourself down. I feel like it's harder for you to speed up than to slow down. It's way easier to slow yourself down.
Right.
And it's just like, I guess we'll learn. If I flip, I know I'm paying a lot of money to fix a thing, but it's my it's my doing, right? So
right.
Dad was pretty happy and my mom was happy, and I had a lot of my family there, right? So it was really cool for everyone to really be there for my first sprint car start, and it was definitely, it went, I feel like, a lot better than a lot of people expected. So yeah, I can't wait to just get better in it, and who knows, we'll see where we're at the end of the year, and maybe we're doing something spectacular like winning a race, but I have a feeling it's probably a lot further than I think, so, which is okay. I'm okay with getting my ass whooped, and I feel like I've been doing that for a while, and then it's more about the grind for me, right? I'm all about the grind, and I've put in a lot of work this off season for it, and I'm fully prepared to get my ass whooped. It's no biggie. So,
listen, you've been kicking our ass on iRacing long enough, so we'll sit back and watch you get your ass kicked a little bit. Now, so you are out in Indiana, so you're out in like wingless country, and we got USAC coming in and everything. Any thoughts of taking the wing off and doing some of that? Was there any ever mention of doing that, or you always wanted to go wing?
Well, I definitely, obviously, if you're on your own race car, I know what I'm doing. I'm building a wing team. Like, that's just, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it 100% if somebody said, "Hey, would you like to do non-wing racing in Indiana?" I would say absolutely, right? I'm not going to turn down anything that allows me to race. I'll race anything in the world. If somebody said, "You want to drive a late model?" I'll drive a late model. I don't care. But yeah, I mean, it's non-wing racing is there, but right here, wing. Whatever side, I don't know. Whatever side it's on. Wing is my life. Wing. I've watched wing racing my whole life. That's what I want to do. I want to be an outlaw. I want to run, all that stuff, right? So, I don't feel like it's now I don't feel like it's too far out of reach, right? I feel like in the micros, I was like, man, I'm a country mile away from even thinking about that. But now it's like, okay, now you're one
Now
step
you got
closer.
the
Now
car and everything.
you've made the step. Now you've got your first start. Now you just got to keep building. So, you'll never know. We'll just see. There's a lot of people out there that own race cars, and I like to drive. So we'll see.
There you go. Randy Kopp asked us before, would you consider running a car in PA if offered a ride?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which racetrack do you want to race at in PA the most?
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
You better think about this.
and learn Central PA. Let's go Central PA specific.
Yeah, Western PA isn't PA.
I know.
So
I
don't want Braden in here.
honestly, Port Royal is probably number one. I feel like I've watched so many badass races there. It's on the fence. I love running the fence. Williams Grove's cool. I don't know. I know I'd get my ass whooped there. So it's like, Lincoln's. Well, I feel like Lincoln's badass. That's for sure. I think that place race is really good sometimes. Baps is like, whew, that place is big, but I don't really care. But it's big, so that's cool.
But you don't think Port Royal's big?
Huge compared to Baps. Baps is banked and like big, right? So it's like, oh, you're hauling ass here. Port Royal, obviously, you go really fast, but I feel like Port Royal would definitely be the first one I would like. Oh yeah, hey, you want to run it? Yeah, correct.
Randy Kopp also asked, who builds your motors?
The 360 motor that they own and they gave me is a one-way technology out of, I think, Evansville or Princeton, down south, way down south, almost near Hobstadt.
And then Santos asked, aside from your dad, who was your racing idol growing up?
Paul McMahon. When Dad raced with the Outlaws, Paul was always my favorite guy. Like, I was young, and I think there's a couple of pictures. Paul would always take me on the four-wheeler and ride me around, and I grew up with all those guys, right? So Paul, Pittman, Steve, Brooke Tatnell, all Donnie, I know all them guys, right? I don't know if they remember me, but I remember all of them. So,
right.
But definitely Paul McMahon. That dude, he was my, he was like, I think I said I was at Eldora one time and I was doing the dash draw for the Outlaw race in like 2015, I think it was 2014. And actually it was 2013 because it was STP and Sammy was up there and my dad was up there and I think Blaney and Gravel and all them guys, right? And in front of thousands of people, right? They were like, oh, who's your favorite driver? We know who your dad is, but who's your favorite driver? And I said Paul McMahon, and everybody went crazy. And I think I drew my dad like the 8 or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, this ain't good. And it was an outlaw race, right? And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. So, yeah, definitely Paul.
That's awesome. And then one more from Santos. What was it like watching the Wild Child in his prime?
I think I was a little behind his prime. I think his prime was probably the time I was almost born, right? My dad and Jack actually had a really good race at Eldora, and I think it was 2013, the end of 2013. Hod was a badass, right? It was insane. I feel like I got to watch more of Sheldon though when he was really young than I did Jack. I definitely watched Jack when he was still good though, and then I watched Sheldon though. I watched Sheldon develop. I think he knows me. I don't know if he does or not, but I watched Sheldon drive his own stuff, and then I watched him get in the 360 stuff, and he was leading the 360 race at Lima one time. Checked out. My dad was running second, and I'm like, "There's no way my dad's catching him. Like, there's absolutely no way. Like, this dude was essentially Corey Day of Ohio sprint car racing in its time, right? And he was young and fast. Didn't win all the time, but he was good, just like Corey was when he first started. He was fast, and he didn't win all the time, but he was always, running mid-pack to up front. And Sheldon was checked out, and the dude, he stuffed it in the fence and yard sailed this thing. And he was driving for Ray Marshall. And then I watched him develop from that into his own stuff, and then go to the Outlaws, and then get the ride with the 17 car. And he's been there for the last 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like I got to watch more of Sheldon than I did Jack. So, but obviously Jack's Jack. He was pretty badass no matter when it was, and he was always at the fence. Never once seen a guy run the bottom once, other than Knoxville. I don't think I ever seen him run the bottom.
So it's funny you kind of described Sheldon, and there's a buddy we do iRacing with who was in a chat earlier. I think it's the same person. Alex Szerzinski / Alec Haldenschau. Doesn't win often,
Always
but
fast, always up on the fence.
is really fast. Leads laps, but wrecks the
Well-
car every night. I think
Well,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, we built him a lot of virtual race cars. A lot.
EJ Shoemaker, he's in their chat every week. Shout out to EJ. He's like, let's go, Sheldon Hansfield. He'll run it up out there and leave with at least 350K. He's talking about this weekend coming up at Huset's. So he's a big Sheldon Hansfield fan. So
I
shout
see
out
that.
there.
I think I've seen him talk about Hod. I think I've seen
Hod
him
fan.
comment about Hod like 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah.
We got some
Yeah,
fans of
that's all right.
drivers in here for sure. So, all right, brother. Hey, we appreciate it. We're going to
Absolutely.
get Seth in here. Shout out some sponsors who helped you get up and down the road, and where will we find
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
next?
Can't thank my mom and dad enough, right? They've them two are. If it wasn't for them, I obviously wouldn't be here, and if it wasn't for their support, I obviously wouldn't be doing this. So, definitely for them two first. I got to thank Paul May. He got me started in racing, right? So, thank him. Miles Hill's been a huge help, right? Helped me run the Chili Bowl. He's helped me race micros for the last 5 years now. Got to thank Joe and Jared Horseman from Ohio for giving me the opportunity to run the 360. It's huge, and hopefully it progresses to more. And if it gets me bigger opportunities, obviously I can't thank them enough, right? So, and I think we're gonna, I don't think it's a short-term deal. I think it's definitely going to be, hopefully a couple years, and we'll just see. So I can't thank them enough. I can't thank Simpson Race Products, Brown and Miller Racing Solutions, Kinney's Components, TSI Shocks. I got a lot of great sponsors. SRI Performance. Obviously, I got a lot of great sponsors, and I can't thank them enough, right? So if it wasn't for them, I definitely wouldn't be here right now. And go check out the racing page, Mason Hannagan, Little Hurricane,
Yeah.
not Tropical Depression.
Is it lilhurricane.com where you can go get these shirts?
It is actually. It
Go-
is
go-
lilhurricane.com.
Go get
Yep.
one of these badass shirts.
But I can't thank you guys for having me on enough. I've known you guys forever, I feel like. So it's I can't wait, and I think hopefully we'll be at I-96 this week up in Michigan. So
Cool.
we'll just have to see. We'll trying to get a dually for this weekend. That way we can tow without having to suck down about 2 full fuel loads, because it was pretty rough with a 3/4 ton Chevy. We were struggling, and I made it for the drivers meeting. That was about the only good thing.
Well, yeah.
We appreciate you being here, man. Good luck this weekend, and we'll catch you down the road when you win.
Well,
we'll get you back on here.
I'm gonna try. I promise.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Mason.
Get after it. See you, man.
Mason Hannagan, everybody. Thank him very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be talking to him in the future for sure. Definitely has a bright future ahead of him. Let's get right into our next guest. Driver out of Pine Grove, PA, 358 driver, Seth Schnoke. Seth, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem. This is a long time coming too. I feel like I probably should have had you on last year, the year before that, and I know I've talked to the guys about it a bunch. I'm like, man, we got to find the right week, and I think this was the perfect week for. There's things going on, and there's people watching Ohio Speed Week. They're actually racing somewhere in the country, but this was a great week for us not to have to recap 1,000 races, and we can get some interviews done. And you may not have had a car to fix or work on tonight. These are always tough on Mondays with nights and things, but. Appreciate you being here, brother. Man, I think people have seen you race a lot the last couple of years. Now that you got into 358s, not that the 305s aren't visible, but it's different. I think 358s at Williams Grove and Lincoln, BAPS. But tell us a little bit about your family's racing history, because I actually don't know this. I know you, but I don't know if there's a background in it, how you got started. Kind of fill us in a little bit about your family's racing history, if any, and kind of your background and how you got where you're at today.
So I I was born into like a racing family, I guess you can say. My grandparents on my mom's side, they race 410s, the 35 car. I think Austin Bishop's driving it now. But yeah, I was about 5 years old, and my mom's biological dad, he got me a quarter midget and started racing them when I was 5 years old. I actually won my very first quarter midget race, and it was kind of like wasn't trying to do it um, professionally, obviously, but you know, did that until I was about 13, 14 years old. Got a lot of wins. Had a lot of fun, and then one day we kind of just left the track and never came back. And then it was, I think I was 15. Um, I was actually sitting up here in the field by myself thinking, like, man, I really want to start racing again, but I don't know where to start. And I knew a couple guys that had 600 modifieds. And I called one of them up and I'm like, hey, like, do you mind, if I drive your car? Just kind of, throwing the word out, that I want to drive, not thinking anything was even remotely close to happening. And then soon enough, I got a call back like, hey, we're going to build you a car. And I was super surprised, just super happy. And anyway, fast forward a couple weeks, I got my very first race in. Um, and I'm not even going to lie, I was dog shit. I didn't know what to do because the only thing I ever raced before that was a quarter midget, and I was pretty good at that, but I didn't know anything to wear 600 Ys or anything like that. But it was about my fourth or fifth race in. My dad was actually building the house now, and the house that we live in now, and he used to race. And I remember pesting him all day. It was a Friday night because I was racing at Lincoln Speedway that night. And he used to own race cars and this and that, but he got out of it because he was trying to build his companies and turn it what it is today. So he didn't really have the time nor money back then. So he kind of got out of it, and I didn't really know he raced until I was maybe 7 or 8. He finally told me and showed me pictures of his car. But anyway, I was pesting him all day, like, Dad, can you please like just come to the track, just one time, that's it, and he's like, we'll see. And hot lap started, and he didn't tell me he was there, but he was there. He just sat in the stands just for hot laps. And like I said, I didn't know really anything. I was lifting a whole hell of a lot sooner than what I should have been, because I didn't know straight was fast, right? Because I grew up watching sprint cars, and they're always sawing on the wheel and everything like that. And I was trying to do it without understanding why they did it, I guess. And yeah, I was just making a total ass out of myself in hot laps about my fifth race. And my dad came over to me after hot laps and was like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, and I thought I was doing good at this point, and he looked at me and goes, dude, that was fucking awful. I'm like, okay. And he goes, why aren't you working on your car? I'm like, what do you mean? And I was 15 at this time, and he was like, are you trying to, what are you trying to do? I'm like, I don't know. And he kind of took me out on the track and was like, listen, here's your marks, here's where you lift. And then he showed me, all the different texture, like the dirt, where the moisture starts, where it ends, where it's slick, where to lift, where not to lift. And the biggest thing he told me is hit your marks, because I was all herky-jerky all over the track, and I made it through my heat race, and he goes, okay, that was better. And I was starting, I think, 7th in that race, and I actually won that one. My 5th ever race in a 600 mod, I won. And I don't think it was that. I think it was more or less I was scared of me coming back to the trailer and him looking at me like I just drove a half an hour to watch you roll around in the back. Like, no, I'm never coming back again. So I think I was more scared of that than anything. And the feeling I got when I won, which, that was amazing. And fast forward 2-3 weeks later, he asked me, he goes, and by that time he was like really starting to get into it. And he's like, okay, if you can drive like that due to what I just told you, and you can actually physically do it and not just say you can actually do it, what can you do in a sprint car? And then that got him thinking. And we went down to New Jersey. I think it was on a Wednesday. We went down to New Jersey to Bruce's Speed Shop. And I think he wrote a check for $10,000 that day. He got me a seat, started getting chassis, motor, all that stuff. We started to, buy and build and stuff like that. And I had a mullet. I had a mullet at the time. And before he wrote that check, yeah. And he looked at me. He goes, before I write this check to get you all this, right when we get home, that damn mullet goes. I'm like, deal. And and then that came the 305s, which the start of the 305s were kind of rough. Because when he did it, it was a while ago, and he raced a wing sportsman, which is a little different from a actual sprint car. But yeah, like it was a learning curve, a big learning curve for him and me. We started there, and about 3 years into it, we got a couple top fives, couple seconds, but we never won. And then I don't know if it was last year. Yeah, it was last year in the beginning of the year. Our 358 was done. I got no practice in it, no anything. I kind of just got thrown to the wolves at Williams Grove. And Williams Grove is probably the most technical track to try and figure out, and not only figure out, but be very good at weekly. But yeah, that was my first ever 358 race. I went from 18th to 9th there. And then my engine builder, Gary Haymaker, he kind of came up to the car and was like, so I guess you're done 305s, huh? And then once I figured out I can drive a 358, I was like, okay, we kind of started to lean more towards that 358 deal. And ran there September 14th, I think it was, somewhere in there. I got my first win, which was pretty, awesome due to I never got a win in a 305, and then, I jump up to a 358 and get a win there. And then from there, we started to build the 360. The 360's done. It's in a car now, so yeah, we're just waiting to debut it. Hopefully, if BAPS holds off, we can take it out for practice on Wednesday, and then hopefully maybe take it to a track. But I'm not sure what one yet. But yeah, that's got started and where it's going.
So I love this story. I got to be honest. I did not know all this, and I love the story that my favorite part of this is it's the opposite of what you mostly see with dads and sons. Dad's, hey, son wants to race, dad's in, he's all in. I'm here, let's go, figure it out, do what you got to do. And this was totally opposite, man. And that is so cool that like maybe why do you think he didn't watch you race for that long? Was it just that like cuz he wasn't in it anymore, right? He's not racing, but why do you think he held off so long in watching you race?
Um, well, he did tell me. He told me because he knew if he got back in it, he'd be hooked. Because, dirt track racing is it's like a drug. It's like an addiction. Once you get back into it, you ain't getting back out of it. And when he had it, he didn't have the money or anything to do it, and he does, and he got back in it. He's just didn't come around because he didn't want.
Oh, he disconnected. He was glitching out there a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, it was slowly dying. Man, what a wild turn of events
I know,
that
right?
is, right? Like dad being so self-aware to say, "Yeah, I can't. I know I can't." It's like I don't know how to I don't want to. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
He back.
Yeah,
I think
sorry,
your
my
Wi-Fi cut out a little bit there.
Oh, good. So
yeah,
dad's
a little
back
bit.
in. He's all in now. So dad's supporting you 100%. I gotta question his judgment a little bit, maybe a little bit of yours, because why on earth would you build a 360 when they can't even get a race in anywhere? Where are you going? Are you going to go out to Knoxville? Like, what's the plan?
Um, as of right now, I'm not sure. Um, like there's talks that he wants to run the 360 Knoxville Nationals. Not this year. He wants to here and there travel, but that could change due to the companies and um my how much I put into it. Because he's all in if I'm all in, But if I'm given like 50% or 20%, I'm not giving my all. There's no way in hell he's gonna give his, right? And now with my sister having horses, he's kind of stuck on the ropes of still trying to support me, but also still trying to make time for her. So it's all by ear right now. But hopefully we can, you know, do the Knoxville Nationals with the 360 and all this. But we we ran we ran the 360s at Port Royal for Speed Week, and but I was in my 358 and I got pulled. Like the compression from 360 to 358 was pretty extravagant, I guess. But like once you get up and going, they're okay. But that initial start, and I think that pissed him off just enough to like, okay, like we have a good car, but now we're just kind of getting outran. And I think that's led him to, okay, now I'm going to build a 360, because I don't know. But me personally, I think that's what he did.
He got the bug. He said, "We ain't gonna get outran no more by horsepower at Port Royal in a 360 race." All right, okay, all right, Dad, I see you. Um, so I've watched you kind of this past season in that 358. Some nights, man, it looks like the struggle bus, and then other nights we watch you. I watch you drive through the field, past every car but one at Williams Grove, and I feel like it's been this like light switch at times, right? There's nights where it just kind of goes normal. You run what you run, and you're there. But there's been these nights like the other night at Lincoln in the heat race, right? I saw the freaking left side brakes, front and rear were glowing bright ass red, and I thought something was broke. And then you kind of looked a little better late in the night. So, what's been this learning curve like in this 358 when you have like keeping it together, mentally in a sense when you have that night where you're like, damn, if this thing's under me, I can pass anybody anywhere. And then you have the nights like at Lincoln in that heat where everybody past you and you're struggling to look like to make the laps.
Yeah, well, I hate to say it, but that heat race was due to me. Um, since it is a father and son team, you tend to question your father a little bit, and that's exactly what I did. I questioned him, and he's like, "Okay, smartass, what do you think it'll be?" And I know how to work on him and stuff like that, but when it comes to making changes at the track, I'm completely lost, and that's where he kind of picks me up, and hopefully driving, I can try and pick him up as well, because I got to give him results, because he's busting his ass more than I am most nights. But yeah, that was kind of a deal, and he's like, okay, what do you think it needs? I'm like, it needs to be tighter. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And he made it tighter, and not the best of scenarios.
That thing looked like a handful to say the least. Yeah. I just standing there watching. I have pictures of the both left side brake rotors just glowing red like I haven't seen in a 358 race in a long time in a heat. Now, that track was a lot different, and I knew going into it that was going to throw some people for a curveball because the 358s don't ever race on a surface in a heat race with a surface like that. So, but that's part of learning. I think that's part of this journey a little bit. And you really don't have that much experience under your belt. So, what does the rest of the year look like if we ever get to race again? Are you kind of on that Williams Grove, Lincoln kind of path?
Um, yeah, yeah, definitely Williams Grove more than Lincoln, but Lincoln is where I got my first sprint car run. It's where I got my first sprint car win. Uh, I'm always gonna want to race Lincoln, but it's gonna be up to my dad. Because as much as I want to race, he signs the checks, so it's up to him. Um, I think we'll probably run Lincoln. I'm hoping, but yeah. So I'd probably say half half. We're definitely gonna try and run all of Williams Grove. Hopefully all of Lincoln, if they have them. But yeah, like I said before with the 360, it's kind of like a toss up right now, with what we want to run, when we want to run. Like there can be a month where we just race, and race, and then there can be another month where, well, my dad wants to go do other stuff, because he's into fishing and he's into all that, so his, unlike most racing dads, he has more hobbies than just racing, so every now and again, if he doesn't want to go to a race, he'll take his boat and go to Canada or go to Lake Oneida in New York or something like that. But hopefully we'll be running all the 358 shows and at Williams Grove and Lincoln.
Timmy.
I saw that you were trying to run some URC stuff too. I mean, I know the Sealands Grove deal got, rained out and everything. I think we have the Speed Week show at Port Royal coming up. Is any plans around that?
Yep, that's actually why we built the 360.
Yeah.
And if BAPS rains out, that's going to be my debut in the 360. Around a big half mile like Port. So we're gonna see. Hopefully BAPS holds off here and I can get some practice in it and some seat time. But yeah, so if they do run URCs at Port Royal, we will definitely be there.
Good deal. Santos says Seth is an absolute badass behind the wheel. We'll never forget him coming from like 19th at the Grove last year and damn near beat Andy Best. Only one up against the fence that night, absolutely running the boards. Tell us a little bit about that night if you remember.
That night was, well, that's definitely a night that I'll never forget. Going in, I didn't think I had any shot to win it at all. I was like, okay, maybe top 5 or something like that. But the way we had the car, that night was all, that car worked that good due to a mistake that we, didn't see on the car. So, that little mistake kind of led us to be that good that night. But yeah, I could pretty much point the car in any direction and it'll go there. I didn't have to fight it. I can roll the bottom really nice. I can roll the middle. I can roll the high side very well. But yeah, the biggest thing I remember is me getting caught up in a crash the very first corner, and me just getting pissed, I guess, at that point. And I really wasn't worried about wrecking the car or tires or conserving anything. And I was just like, well, I'm just gonna pick as many cars off as I can, and and that's what I did. But I remember passing, I think it was Cole Young for third, going down the backstretch and looking up at the leaderboard and seeing myself in third. I'm like, holy shit, like I'm in third, and I really wasn't counting cars at this point. And then a caution flew with 1 to go, and going down the backstretch, ready to take the green. All I can think about is just please give me a perfect lap. Just let me just try and win this race. Just please let me win this race. And I came up a little short. I watched that race 150 times at least. And, I tried to pinpoint every little thing that I did wrong. And, I found a couple things, but the biggest thing that I found wrong in that race was the last corner of the race, like the last corner, last lap. I should have entered on the high side and dropped off the cushion. Instead, I entered through the middle and slid up to it. Maybe I could have won if I entered on the high side, but that's racing. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
That's how you learn.
Yep.
I've got to ask because USAC's kind of on the mind. You said you got a 360. Any thoughts of taking the wing off, maybe running USAC East Coast?
Oof. I don't know. I never really thought about it. I mean, I think maybe, if somebody gave me the opportunity in somebody else's car, but
Okay.
I don't think in mine.
Right. And Santos says, I've always been curious to know about the investment in the 305s versus the big cars because it's advertised as the racers class. Tell us a little bit about the differences between, how economic is the 305s versus maybe getting into a 358 or 360.
Well, a 305's kind of, an up and down. Like you can go build a 305 for, $10,000 and go, get a okay motor for that price and, piece a car together and you can have a car on a track for $15,000. Or, you can build a $20,000 305, have 3 of them, and treat it like a 410 team, so it's a toss up on what you want to do and how you want to do it, I guess. It's like any sport, just how far deep do you want to go into one specific class. But financially, they're more, yeah, they are more, well, at least a little bit more affordable. But the way my dad did it is kind of about the same.
Yeah.
About the same as a 358.
Randy asked, are you going to the Lattimore Valley Fair Sunday for autographs and merch sales?
I'm not sure. When is it? Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday.
I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah, it's a Speed Week kickoff thing.
Where's that at? Like
It's
what?
at the Lattimore Valley Fairgrounds.
Maybe. I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no. I got to see what I'm doing. Maybe. Yep, maybe.
There we go. That's a good maybe. I like
Tell
that.
me, Seth, you want to know where I'll be Sunday?
Where?
The action track, Kutztown, watching USAC. National Series at Kutztown. What a show!
Oh,
Not to
yeah.
take away from anybody else, man, that's wild to see. Have you seen that, Seth? Do you have a chance to go see that in the last couple of years?
I've actually
One of the
only
most
ever
That's
been.
it.
things.
I've actually
Um,
only ever been in the action track one time.
It's a badass place.
I don't know. We'll see.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, hey brother, we're gonna get you out of here. You got kind of in and out signal a little bit. Appreciate the time here tonight. We're gonna
Thank
probably
you.
get wrapped up. We're gonna go a little early tonight, probably. Speed Week's on. We might have, yeah, people. It's one of them deals. So, thanks some sponsors who helped you get up and down the road. And where are we gonna see you next? After hopefully Wednesday test session at BAPS, where do we see you next after that then?
Probably at the next 358 race. Well, my main 358 car is completely stripped down. That's actually going up to Kenny Ekins to get fixed after the wreck on Saturday. But we might take the 360 to Port Royal, maybe, but not, not making any promises there. But it's a maybe. But hopefully, once I get this chassis back, hopefully we'll be on the track with the 358s whenever the rain holds off here.
Yeah, if it ever does. All right, we're gonna let you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Give a shout out to any sponsors that you might want to that helps you get to the racetrack every weekend.
Yeah, I'd like. Yeah, Ravine Service Center, Ravine Transportation, Higgins Valley Real Estate, Kinsel Welding. Yeah, pretty much all the sponsors on the car. My dad, big shout out to him. Because without him, I don't think we'll all be here. Nowhere near where I am today in the racing world. But yeah, so yeah, big thanks to all my sponsors and mainly my dad. Big shout out to him.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Good luck here in the future. Hopefully to see you out on the track here soon and maybe back in Victory Lane. All right, thanks. All right. That I don't know if you could hear me at the end there. Was kind of cutting a little bit in and out, but Seth Schnoke, everybody, awesome. That was a pretty cool story. I didn't realize some of that stuff that he was talking about. Like you said, coming from a dad who grew up or who did a lot of the racing, kind of being opposite. You know what I mean? Kind of like, I don't want to get back into it because, but sounds like they're back into it now. And, Seth is doing awesome out there. He's definitely a gasser and see what happens to for him here in the future. So real quick, I'm going to share my screen here. I didn't really have time to do a whole graphic, so I'm not gonna watch. We're not gonna watch Flow Racing, but they are pushing off into the B main, I think here. But let's go check out some of the results that we did have this weekend. Knoxville had The World of Outlaws there for 2 nights. Night 1, David Gravel goes from 8th to 1st and gets the win over Kerry Matson, Rico Abreu. You pretty sure Donnie Schatz was your hard charger from 25th to 15th. Anthony Macri, top 10 finish. He looked really good out there at Knoxville. He's been, he had a little bit of a rough start at beginning of the Wisconsin deal. But he's been running really strong here lately, up top 10 with, there was over 60 cars here. So, getting tuned up for nationals, and he's been looking pretty good out there, making Posse proud here. But David Gravel, man, what can you say? Just, go from 8th to 1st here. Pretty impressive. Corey Day finishes 5th. Carson Macedo 4th. On night 2, Corey Day gets the win, going from 4th to 1st over David Gravel. Buddy Kofoid, Anthony Macker gets 4th place. And Brad Sweet rounds out your top 5. Ryan Timms, the 6th place finish. He looked really strong too, as well, all weekend, as he has running all up there between Houston and Knoxville. Has looked really, really good. Hard charger was Carson Macedo, 22nd to 11th. And again, just David Gravel doing David Gravel things, just up there being the guy to beat every week. But Corey Day wins this one. Going it got pretty close at the end when they were in lap traffic coming to the line there, but he kind of held his own. Yeah, Marie says Gravel could put that car anywhere on the track. Absolutely. He's so good at Knoxville, and he's going to definitely be the guy to beat here going in the nationals in maybe in a month and a half here. So, 2 months, I guess. So taking a look at their schedule here, it's Houston's week. You got the Houston's Hustle Wednesday and Thursday, and then the High Bank Nationals Friday and Saturday. $250,000, I think, to win on Saturday. Yes, on Saturday. I think it's $100,000 to win on Thursday. Double check here. Yep, $100,000 to win on Thursday. $250,000 to win on Saturday. A lot of money up for grabs up there at Houston's. See how it goes. Hopefully, it goes better than I think it was last year when they got flooded out and they were pulling campers out. So pray for good weather up there. Hopefully, they have a good event. A lot of money on the line. Cool that Houston does that. See how that goes. And then here in Central PA, Eastern Storm, baby. It's here. Tomorrow night, Grandview, USAC with 358 modifieds. Bridgeport on Wednesday with URC 360s. Big Diamond on Thursday with modifieds. Williams Grove on Friday with the 410 sprint. So you get double sprint, wing and non-wing. And then Saturday, that's the big one. That's the you get the USAC sprint cars, Silver Crown, and the wing 410s. Kind of like a mini 4 Crown in a way without the midgets. Pretty cool deal there at Port Royal. And then, like we said on Sunday, Action Track, man. If you are in the area, get there for this one. This is such a spectacle. It's such a good event. Especially if you go in the infield and watch, man, it is awesome. Really nothing like it. So really excited for this. Really excited for USAC to come into town here. Weather, besides tomorrow, weather actually looks pretty decent from Wednesday on. Fingers crossed. And then the weekend looks really, really good. I think we're finally going to get some racing in. So hopefully the beating we've been taking with the weather pays off with some good racing here this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited for this. It's always a fun week. There's a lot to choose from this week, and hopefully we get more in than we don't throughout the week and through the weekend. So, man, it's going to be a fun week. It always is. The last few years have been great. Pretty good luck weather-wise for this swing, especially like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. I think the last 3 years I've seen all three, I want to say, or at least the last two for sure. without really much issue. So it's that time of the year where hopefully we can break the cycle a little bit, and maybe a crappy Monday, Tuesday here will break the cycle for a good weekend for once. So looking forward to it. Looking to try to do the triple there, the Williams Grove Port Royal action track. So we shall see. Really hate missing the Steve Smith, makeup at Lincoln Saturday, but it's hard to pass up Silver Crown when they're in town. If it was Silver Crown any other day or wherever else, man, it would be an easy decision to hit up Lincoln this weekend. And I always like that Steve Smith race, but we'll see.
Yeah. I won't be at any of these, unfortunately. Maybe Big Diamond on Thursday. Maybe I might try to hit that up. But I'll be at Pocono at least on Sunday. Probably won't be able to get to Port on Saturday. Maybe I'll go to Williams Grove on Friday. I don't know. We'll see. Got some things to do. I don't know if I'll be able to make any of these, but if not, you can catch all these on Flow Racing. So I definitely will be doing that. If I can recommend any one of these, I mean that's Saturday, Sunday for sure. I mean Sunday at Kutztown is awesome with the 600 wingless micros, and then but man that 3 division show at Port, there's nothing like it. Watching Silver Crown there is awesome. I do wish that they would, and I've said this a couple times here. I do wish that they would do maybe practice and qualifying for Silver Crown like earlier in the afternoon. I know that's tough, especially for them in the middle of a long week. They raced the night before and everything, but I think it would make the night go smoother because it's a long night. Jason Persley will be at Port. He'll be in the Dyson Silver Crown car I did see, and I'm sure he'll find a maybe he'll find a sprint ride, or maybe he'll bring the will he be in the 13 maybe? Yeah, maybe he'll do all 3. Who knows? But I know he'll definitely be in the Dyson Silver Crown car to defend his win. I mean, he won it last year. Chase will be doing double duty at Port this weekend as well. He'll be in the 23 and the 86. You're going to see a couple of them, either double duty with either USAC and Silver Crown. I wonder if Brady Bacon might do all 3. You never know. That's tough to do. That's really tough to do with all 3. But Ampe says might see the Dub Zero a few times this week. That's cool. That'll be good to see him out there.
Finally,
right? Hopefully Williams.
You want to fill us in a little? You want to fill us in a little bit more, so maybe I can, see the Dub Zero this week. You want to give us a little more info on that, maybe?
I would imagine Bridgeport on Wednesday, huh? And then
to do what? They have a 358 and a 410. Do they have a 360 now?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, fill us in a little bit here.
Yeah.
Ant. Don't keep us. Don't. I mean, it's only a few days away. I'm sure you have a plan.
Don't tease us.
Be the PR guy. Hey, you might see us.
Yeah, maybe.
What kind of PR is that? Maybe we race. I mean,
man. Bridgeport Wednesday, potentially Lincoln. So, yep. That's cool.
410. Wait, 360. What are you racing?
360, 358. Or 410. I don't know.
Taking the 358 to run against.
Tyler Murray says heard Bacon is running Houston. That makes sense. And won't be in town this weekend.
PA Speed Week though.
Yep.
He's running all PA Speed Week. Sounds like, right?
Yeah, something like that. Running 358 against URC. So there you go. He'll be in a 358 for both. Yeah, so I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of these USAC in town. These are the best wingless cars on the planet. Some of the very best, most talented sprint car racers, winged or non-wing. Some of the best sprint car racers, period, in town. Get there, go check these out. It'll be a great time. Williams Grove also on Friday. They did move Mama's Pizza Fan Appreciation Night also to this night. So that'll be cool. Hopefully, looks like you'll be able to get into the front pit area, meet your favorite drivers from 5:30 to 6:15. So get there early on Friday if you want to go and meet some drivers. Pit gates open at 5:30, so get there for then. Then, like we said, PA Speed Week tune up the Steve Smith tribute race, 410s and 358s, time trials for the 410s. Pits open at 4:30. Racing starts at 7. They're at Lincoln on Saturday night. You also, like I said, Port Royal, 3 division show, $80 for electric camping site, $25 to dry camp, $6,000 to win for the USAC sprint cars, $8,000 to win for the Silver Crown, and $5,000 to win. Probably just be a handicap show for the 410s, but yeah, I mean, they sometimes get 30, 40 cars for this one, just because you have guys that come out, try to do both, or just want to come out and watch USAC. I mean, it's usually, if they have good weather, I mean, you could see easily over 100 cars, if not 110, 120 cars in the pit area between all 3 divisions. Guys doing double duty, guys just want to come out. Sometimes you hear names that you haven't even heard in a while come on out. So, and then also on Saturday, BAPS is running with the Wingless Sportsman, 602 crate mods, late models, and the extreme stocks. General mission opens up at 5, and then racing at 7, $15 to get in. And Sealands Grove, super and limited lates and 4 cylinders on Saturday, $25 to get in, 6:30 hot laps. And then on Sunday, at the Lattimore Valley Fairgrounds for the Eastern Museum of Motor Racing, something new this year that they're doing, kicking off, basically a kickoff for PA Speed Week. There'll be drivers there. Chase Dietz, one of them, will be there with their merch trailers. Lindsey Barna will be there doing driver interviews. They'll have an auction at 2:00. So, a bunch of things to do to kind of be the kickoff here for PA Speed Week. Pretty cool deal being put on here over there. So definitely go check it out. Cars and coffee and a cornhole tournament at 10 a.m., tractor parade at 11 a.m., and the chili cook-off at noon. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Looks to be a nice day. If you're not going to Kutztown, if you're not going to Pocono, go and check this out. Pretty cool deal. Sounds like a lot to do. Go meet some of your favorite drivers, get some merch, get some autographs, go, eat some chili. Sounds like a cool deal. So, yeah, that's really it for this week. Obviously, with the rain this past weekend, nothing really happened. Sealands Grove tried like hell yesterday to get it in. I know, basically as soon as JC pulled in, they canceled. They had every piece of equipment out there trying to work that track in when I got there at like 3:45. And it looked decent, and then it just kind of misted for too long, and it's going to take probably another hour and a half to get it worked back in once it finally stopped. As soon as all they canceled and all the haulers started leaving, that's when it cleared up. So, yeah. So, Randy Kopp, did I see Briggs Danner ran a late model? Damn right he did. He ran it at Bridgeport first late model race, and he ran 4th. Oh. Is that the
I think that's what I'm trying to listen to.
Gotcha. That's cool. But yeah, Briggs Danner did, and he did Briggs Danner things and just wheeled that sumbitch and I think he finished 4th. So against some really good super late models there. Greg Satterley won that race. Also, speaking of that was the Thursday race, also at Sealands Grove for the super late model speed week, got rained out. That got rescheduled to June. Let's see if they have it on their website here. It got rescheduled to in a couple weeks. I have to look on their social media here. But that'll be the official finale. I'm sorry, 6th. Thank you, Marie. Danner finished 6th, not 4th. But they'll keep all the points for late model speed week and finish it up at Sealands Grove I gotta find that. Oh, go under social media. It's there somewhere. But they did reschedule. They announced that today as well. Drink it, dump it. I mean, I'm basically just dump it to the weather. I mean, everything getting rained out. Been a huge bummer. I want to give a good drink it to Paulus Graphics. So we are going to have stickers available made by Paulus Graphics here. Shout out to Gary. Thank him very much for making these for us. If you need signs, vinyl graphics, truck lettering, hand painted pinstriping, Gary does it all with graphics. Find him on Facebook or give him a call at 717-919-7457. We are going to have a bunch of stickers on sale here very shortly. We got them made, and we just got to kind of figure out logistics. Probably find us at the track, but we're going to sell them for $5 a piece, and all proceeds, all of it, will go to Vertical for Life. So if you want a T2T sticker, it basically looks like this, just a little bit smaller, and it's colored. We'll get you some pictures here shortly. We'll get them up on our website, on our social media and everything. But if you're interested, send us a message or find us at the racetrack, and we'll end up getting something set up here in the next couple of weeks too. But best shot will be to find us at the track or message us on social media. And like I said, all proceeds go to Vertical for Life. So July 11th. Thank you, Marie, is the date for the makeup. I thought he finished. So he finished 4th, not 6th. I don't know. He finished up there. But yes, $5 for a sticker. We'll get more information out on our social media here shortly, probably this week, and try to meet one of us at the track to meet up, and then we'll get some stuff set up online. If you want to buy them, we'll have about, I think we have like 170 of them, almost 200 of them for sale. So, Daniel Lee, drink a shoey to James McFadden for dominating the NARC 410s and the Tarleton 21. 4 out of 5 races he'll be at, and Daniel will be at every Eastern Storm race. So that's awesome. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, there's some news, I guess, breaking for PA, which I don't know. Anyway, so here's the deal. Were we done?
Yeah.
I don't really have a drink here, but I just want to watch a race. I'm out. I'm done. I want to watch racing. Can we just watch some racing, please?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll watch out for social media. We'll have those stickers on sale. We'll meet you guys at the track. Probably between Chris and Jay-Z for the next couple weeks. I probably won't get to any tracks for the next few weeks, but I'll try to keep an eye out on social media, and I'm not against mailing them out as well if we want to do that. So again, for a good thing, going to Vertical for Life. Appreciate them supporting us. It's a good cause, helping veterans out. So yeah. So gonna go watch some racing. Also, Beer Hill Gang's over on the Chaz right now, breaking some news, I guess. So go check that out for sure.
Chaz used my picture on his stream right now. That's cool. Of the 358, not the 410. That's the 358 of Tyler.
Just real quick, Santos, drink it to you guys, dump it to the weather, and also for me missing the invite to Jay-Z for Flat Out. And then Mandy says weekend winners, McFadden, Chase Randall, Corey Day, beating gravel, dump it to the weather for the 900th time this year. Yes. Telling you, weather looks really good this weekend. It's going to be warm. It's going to be no rain. Grandview might be screwed tomorrow. Maybe Bridgeport gets in Wednesday, maybe not. But I think from there on out, we're going to have a great weekend of racing. So get out to the track if you can. Thank you, Paulus Graphics, for their help. Give them a call if you need any graphic work. And thank you guys, as always, for joining us. And also Mason Hannagan and Seth Schnoke for joining us. Really cool interviews with those guys. Keep an eye on them. They're 2 young names to watch. here in sprint cars here locally and nationally. So